Our mission is to empower you to use your knowledge and intuition to create a portfolio that works for you, to build the confidence you need to navigate the crypto market, and to feel secure when you're ready to invest into the new financial system. We care. Our investments, we take them personally. We will never present a coin or a project to you that we have not invested in ourselves or done the extensive research we feel is required. At Vibra, we are a team that will take you step by step through the cryptocurrency market with confidence. Being a client of Vibra allows you exclusive access to our community in our private Discord server where you can chat with our consultants. They are ready, willing, and able to help you with any of your problems. These services are a rich resource for those of you that are looking for a place to start that they can trust. Becoming a client of Vibra starts with welcoming you to share your long and short-term goals with us by scheduling a complimentary 15-minute chat via phone or Zoom. We look forward to getting to know more about you and how we can best assess your individual asset, portfolio, and financial goals. We provide solutions on how to self-custody your crypto as well as how to gain exposure without directly owning crypto. Ultimately, this leads us to maintaining a long-standing relationship based on trust. We are committed to empowering and educating crypto investors on how to take and make decisions and maximize returns. We provide value with extensive market knowledge, active portfolio management, and our industry associates so you can reach your financial goals.
At Vibra Finance, we seek out the hidden gems in cryptocurrency. We will tailor your portfolio to work for you. Are you ready to transition your investments from traditional markets to cryptocurrency? Are your coins staked and earning interest? Are you overwhelmed with all the jargon in crypto? Is your portfolio underperforming and you want to reposition into consistent winning blue chip coins and viable projects? Do you feel like you missed out on Defy, Metaverse, and NFTs? Here at Vibra Finance, we provide you with the data, skills, and tools you need to stay on top of the digital asset market. Vibra Finance, we are the future of crypto.
Hello, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Thank you so much for joining us here at Vibra Finance live stream for the ladies live chat. Tonight, we have a special treat for you. We're going to work through some strategies, tools, and tips that we use in a crypto bear market, the crypto winter, these times where things seem scarce. There are many things that we can share with you tonight, and I have a very special guest, a wild SJ. Pulse Visionary is going to join us, and Nurse Scarlett will be here too to talk about all of these things that we are so excited to share with you all. So please give a wild SJ a very warm welcome. Hi.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Tonight's topic is surviving in a crypto bear market. How does all of that work for us, and how are we so secure in ourselves that we can hold diamond hands? Hello, Nurse Scarlett Rose. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so good to see you.
Thank you. You too.
So Nurse Scarlett Rose has a bit of a lag on her video, but she will be able to join us fluently via audio. So if she cuts out in her picture, she's not abandoning us. We'll still get to hear her beautiful voice, and we have lots of questions for her. So tonight, let's get to know her a little bit better. Nurse Scarlett Rose, can you please tell us, how did you get started in DeFi, and where are you today?
Well, I would say I am somewhat still a newbie. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And you
Turn
look beautiful.
Camera.
I'm here for it. No, don't turn up your camera. We can still see your beautiful face.
Oh, thank you.
Like
Okay,
Padma Latin.
well, I would have gotten started. I would have gotten started sooner in DeFi, had it not been for correct assumptions. So I knew very little about crypto, and really looking back on my earlier understanding, it was more so about centralized exchanges. And I didn't really understand that there was this whole world of DeFi. And so I think I would have gotten into it sooner, but really, it's just been a little over a year.
A little over a year. Wow. So coming in as a noob, because a year is like, so did you know anything about crypto, or did somebody, like, how did you find, because we're all Hexicans here, how did you find HEX?
I found out about HEX from, I have been a member of several prepper communities. Yeah. And so there are actually lots of preppers that are Hexicans. And so that is how I heard about HEX. And I was just, that was around the time that Doge was being pumped, and everybody about Doge. You know, like the grandma down the street who was walking her dog was talking about Doge. And so I was just like, you know what? This is what I call mass adoption, right? Like this is beyond just something fringe. And so I just felt like, you know what? I can't make excuses for this. Had I had known about hard wallets and DeFi sooner, I would have been in years ago. So
yeah, knowing about the technology to keep you safe is the most like important point to start. Having technology that's clean phone, clean computer, clean like hardware wallet, those are so important. As we can see from everything that's going on around us, the not your keys, not your crypto seems more of an important, it's not a tout, really. It's not a warning. It's a message that we all know as like state Hexicans. It's not your keys, not your crypto. I think that's a very centralized point in this community that I'm so grateful that every single one touts is hold your crypto safely. And we have so many amazing people that have stepped up in this community to say, listen, I've made those mistakes and I'm not going to go there too. So I'm very grateful for those that stepped forward that have helped us get those learning lessons. So if you haven't lost your crypto from a mistake, there are many things to look out for. We've all seen those honeypots and like fake projects that are out there, and those will, as Pulse Chain evolves, like we'll be encountering more of those, like scams, honeypot schemes, and things. And we all have that diamond hand mindset. That's why that's the topic of tonight is how do you keep your mindset right to hold on to your crypto so that it works for you. You're not constantly chasing it. And I am so excited to dive in there today about that. Thank you so much, Pulse Visionary, for joining us. Welcome, welcome.
Hi.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for the invite. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, so excited. I can't wait to dive into what we're going to transition to tonight, which is a tool and a skill that helps us. There's a transition, right? Having a mindset of abundance is a pivot, and that pivot is not easy to make. And that's an abundance of so many things. It's your health, your wealth, and yourself. And those all, like, if you can get your wealth and your health and yourself together, you've got it made. We have the diamond package. So we have a product that can work for us, and we have a system called T-shares that works for us. And so how do we like look at these things that are going on throughout all these markets and really hold on to this. And I'm excited to dive into some tools and skills. So let's start off with Nurse Scarlett Rose. Like, what is one thing that you, or habit that you've established since you've got into HEX that has helped you maintain that diamond hand mindset, that abundance or wealth mindset? I'm so open to different terms for that because I feel like mindset kind of sticks you in a box. So I'm excited to hear from you guys.
Yeah, great. Thank you for asking. I have definitely been putting a lot of thought into this. And even when I share hacks with friends or family, or even complete strangers, it's interesting because I think this topic comes up for me frequently, which is how hacks has changed my my perception of now, and really the way that the decisions that I make today can so significantly impact my future 3, 5, 7, 10, 15 years from now. So, for example, a lot of my friends are struggling why I'm not interested on going on regular girls trips. I'm okay with not going on girls trips for maybe 5 years, because to me, I see down the road, right? So Hex has really taught me this, and the delayed gratification and the willingness to sacrifice today for tomorrow. And so I see it as, okay, well, I'm totally fine with that, with not going now, because I see the greater reward in the future, and I could go on girls trips, 10 a year, I suppose. So it's just really being more forward thinking. And so I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Knowing that you have something that's waiting for you that you can't access until it's due, or that time is like being a kid with an Easter basket. You just know it's there, and you know all the places you can go find things, but you can't have it until it's time. It's really going and like using that in our lives. And like, girls trips are important. We need that time. We need that time for ourselves. We need that time with each other. So like, so how do you okay, so if you're delaying your gratification with going on girls trips, how are you substituting that with something that fulfills your life in the meantime?
It's really interesting because I'm and so it reminds me a little bit of growing up, being that I'm going to experience some of challenges in my life, and I may need to work harder than others. For one, in certain circumstances, being a female, or being a woman of color, and things of that nature. And so, just life and decisions that I've made in my life, or things that have happened, just for me, I am able to accept the fact I made my sacrifice different than someone else's. And I'm satisfied with the reward that I see and I know is coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to settle in that mindset of abundance is, like I said, that's a pivot that is, it's not easy to do. It's a slow transition. And Pulse Visionary, you were on a stream recently, and you gave an excellent example and an excellent walkthrough of like, when you said my biggest pet peeve is when people say you need to meditate. Don't you tell me what I need to do. It's, when you're not in that mindset of openness because you're worried about 25 other things coming at you. Can you please give us a intro point on how we can help those around us to kind of be not kind of, but to be receptive to that? It's such an important tool to be able to calm down, focus in, and that is really truly what gives us the ability to have time in hands. Can you walk us
Right.
through that a little bit? Yeah.
I'd love to. Yeah. My work as a mental health advocate and somatic therapist has gone back years, and I'm so thrilled to see this starting to become mainstream. But we have a recent understanding of how our nervous system functions that can really help us once we understand that, to figure that it's not that there's something wrong with me, it's that I need to align myself with how my nervous system works, because that's what runs our physiology. So basically, there's like two main branches to our nervous system, and it's responsible for us even surviving. So it's basically whether we're safe or not. So they're completely different, where it's almost like two different personalities. So knowing what our personal trauma and triggers are that keep us not safe, in the fight or flight mode, once we realize we're constantly reacting rather than responding to the stressors, then we can start to discern when it's appropriate to let our guard down and remove the armor that we're conditioned to use to protect ourselves. So then we can learn some tools to recognize and address our own trauma so we don't impose it on others. So right now, all of humanity is in a new level of trauma. And however resilient some of us are, it's really helping us. But those of us who are not so resilient are having a harder time. And that's why we see the divisiveness, of people who are really buckling down. I think generally speaking, looking out there for an answer, for a pill or a surgery or a crypto or a relationship or whatever it is, rather than looking within. So there's even kind of a silver lining to this whole pandemic that we've been going through, where it forced us all to just stop and go with, like, what else are you going to do? You can't go anywhere, you can't do anything. So we had to go within. And so I think people who have been heeding that call and doing the work, like at first it's scary, what we talked about with meditation, I can't do that. I feel like a failure, so I quit. No, it's a process of getting that way and understanding my nervous system is too activated right now to be able to even close my eyes. So what can I do to work with my nervous system so I can feel more safe and assure myself there's no saber-toothed tiger here trying to get my neck? And then that way, I think I spoke about just being able to pause is the first step. Like before you even get out of bed in the morning, pause and take some nice deep breaths. Our breath is really involved with our nervous system state. You can tell when you get upset, you start breathing faster. And so by pausing and checking in, that gives us some self-awareness of, aha, my nervous system could handle calming down a little bit. And then even things like heart math is one of the certifications I have. So what they're teaching, it's becoming mainstream now, but internal coherence. And so put your hand on your heart and focus on your breath, like even just focusing on where the breath comes out, right? Can I feel the warm, moist air? What do I smell? What is my environment like? Getting the five senses involved. Take a nice deep breath. And maybe even close your eyes and think about a really positive feeling. Like for you, Lindsay, just today being out there with the kids on these warm summer nights, it's like, yeah, we wait all winter for that. Yeah. So aligning our heart and our brain together can restore that connection within so that we're more self-aware and and we can respond rather than react. So there's a lot going on. There's many paths up the mountains. I've been teaching this for a while, but basically, the tools help us to recognize and address our own trauma so that we don't impose it on others. And once we get there, realizing that, I've seen people's voice change and asthma go away and all kinds of things once they get practicing it. Yeah. And then once we get there, it's like, instead of going, oh my gosh, that person is such a jerk, you go, wow, that person is really in an activated state. They must be really afraid. So giving people a break rather than being so judgmental. And also, I don't know if you've seen that diagram, but the more we stay in our heart and with internal coherence, we impact others that way. And so we can help them to calm down just by being calm ourselves. Same thing when we go out in the world all activated, we're going to bring each other into a more, like the Karens and stuff. It's like everybody's feeding off of that energy because we don't have the resilience.
Do you think that resilient in your practice, because you're a holistic healer and you've been doing this for long enough to have dealt with many different personalities and like background types, like, do you believe that is inherited? Is it nurture versus nature is kind of my question on that one.
I think it's both. I think that some people can be born into situations that are not safe. And so the nervous system, there's a thing called neuroception, because it's not even cognitive. Like when you walk into a room and go, I got to get out of here, I don't feel safe. Or I really like it here, I feel really comfortable here. So even like babies who are born into like not safe, they grow in that realm, and there's more of a restriction to their self-awareness because of how they, the environment that they've been raised in. Maybe their parents aren't so self-aware or resilient, and so, it could be bickering or just like negative energy that keeps us from becoming self-aware and resilient. Whereas other people who come in on a cloud and really beloved and surrounded by all this love and stuff, they're just used to expressing fully, and being self-aware is easier for them because it's safe for them.
And working with these clients and noticing the difference between nurture and nature, do you see a scarcity versus abundance mindset with these clients?
Definitely. Yeah, when we're afraid, we're looking out there for something to change. And it takes a lot of security to go, I just need to go within right now and calm myself, and then I can broaden my scope and move forward more appropriately. And so, maybe there are some situations where it's okay to be in that safe zone, and some situations where it would be foolish and even deadly to be there. So knowing when it's appropriate and being able to let your guard down and remove the armor that we're conditioned to use to protect ourselves physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, that can help us to gain resilience, right? Like, when is it appropriate for me to let my guard down?
Yeah.
And then go ahead.
No, you go.
Just that then we recognize that we may knowingly or unwittingly weaponize and use it against each other. So like maybe the parents were doing that, or siblings, or whatever situation we grew up in. So that would be the nurture. But I think that's our nature, to be more safe. Not so much in today's world, because I think there's a lot going on that's challenging. But generally, I think we have a biological imperative for connection, and it's all about connecting. But like the Hopi prophecy is carved in on some walls where they address this, where our head is not attached to our body anymore. And it's like we're so wrapped up in what we think about everything And, don't believe everything you think. It's not necessarily what we feel as we go through. So if we can do things that bring our head and heart back in alignment, it's a whole new world.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that SJ, you have gone into a point where you were in a situation where it was like, do I stay here? Here's an opportunity. All right, let's do this. So to me, that tells me that you know your gut and you trust it. Can you tell us how you stumbled upon your own self and how you like what makes you trust your own intuition and knowing that
What a
that's the
gift.
right one?
Yeah, that's a great question. Huh. I
Right?
think that in part, and this is kind of a strange answer, but this is the first thing that kind of came to my mind is I feel like I've always had a very intuitive, like I've been connected to my intuition for a long time. But in a way, reading tarot cards and doing like different card readings like kind of confirmed, it helps confirm things for me. Or sometimes it's like it can be like little God winks is maybe a good way to put it, right? It doesn't always have to be like, a card reading or like an astrology reading. Maybe it's something that I see. I think I'm open to that, right? Like because I trust myself and I trust my gut, I'm I'm not necessarily always looking for signs, but I allow that in, and I'm more aware of, for example, like angel numbers, and if I see a certain a certain number repeats, or if there's a certain animal or plant or something that reminds me of someone or gives me that sense of comfort, or like reassurance, right? I think over time, I've just used tools like that to maybe heighten my intuition a little bit, but also to reassure myself that, yes, that initial, like whether or not I have something to back it up, that gut feeling is what I should be following. And I mean, I would say that I've followed my heart, or my intuition nearly all my life. It's like when I know that, just like you guys are talking about, when you go into a room or you go into a situation and you know that it's not right, right? Like it's just this very intense knowing, and it can get physical, I consider myself empathic. I think we all have empathy to a degree. But when I kind of was looking into this more and reading about gifts, like some people see visions and auras, some people hear things. I can feel other people's pain. I can feel if someone's uncomfortable around me. I can feel if there's someone in the room that I don't want to be around, or, don't think is, we don't jive on the same vibration. Like I could feel all of that. So yeah, that's I guess the easiest way for me to put it.
Honestly, thank you for that. Was eloquently put. It's not easy to tap into that intuition, but that's what it is. It's this tool tool and skill that we've all like honed in on to use to protect our gut. And we know like gut health and mental health correlate, right? Like you are the food that you eat, you are what you put in your body, you are what you think to yourself. If you're saying, I'm scarce, I can't do this, I don't have enough, I have to, it's this like that flight or fight reaction. And that, like, how can you settle down in yourself and know and trust that you've made a good decision when you're hearing and seeing things in multiple environments around you that kind of are that little voice next to you? So can you guys share with me a tool that you use to combat that? Anybody can start. I'm throwing it out there.
To combat like not listening to your voice?
Yeah, no, to combat not listening to your voice, to hone in to protect yourself from fear, uncertainty, and doubt, to really like what was the gateway for you to really tune in?
I think like Sandra was saying earlier, slowing down, connecting with the breath, because oftentimes if oh, here's another thing that it kind of relates to this. If I'm not paying attention to my intuition, and like things, like I'm just in a rush, right? Usually like I'm rushing around and just not listening to my inner voice. Oftentimes things will start to break, like physically break. Like I'll drop something, or it's like the frustration keeps stacking until I'm like, oh, right, I need to slow down and reconnect with what I should be listening to, which is, inside of me. And that goes for also my mom would say I burnt the candle at both ends, right? Because I'm a very like extroverted go kind of person, and a lot of times if I'm not taking care of myself, I'll get sick or breaks, something painful will happen, and I'm forced to slow down. So I think I'm at the stage in life where I want to work on catching that, right, and learn that tool, learn about breathing and meditation more, so that I am more centered, so that I don't get to that point where I've burned the candle on both ends and then I'm getting sick or something's breaking.
Oh, that balance. I mean, I don't know. Nurse Scarlett, Pulse Visionary, do you guys have a recommendation to help you hone in and find that balance between calm and chaos?
You want to say something, Nurse?
For me, it's
Okay.
yeah. So I was just saying, I think, obviously just throughout life, we're constantly refining these aspects of ourselves. For me personally, I definitely need to work on my life. I find can make that a priority, just do better. But it's easy to get swallowed up with work and everything going on. We're in a very busy community. So I think just reminders to be grounded and, take time.
Yeah, absolutely. What does grounded mean to you? And how would you relate that to someone who doesn't know what grounding means?
Is that a question for me? I'm sorry, there's a little delay.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll throw that out to anyone. Like, what does grounding mean to you, and how do you facilitate that? If you don't even, like, if I heard the word grounding 7 years ago, I'd have been like, I would have thought of pole tying my like horse to the ground or something. But like, yeah, grounded my horse. Like what? Like that's what I would have thought. So now walking into that, I was like, grounding. This is a whole new world. Wow, that feels way better. So can you tell us how you, like, what does grounding mean to you, and what's a technique that you use? She's so pretty in every frame. Like every frame she frames it.
Oh, me? Oh, you're so sweet. I'm just, the delay is definitely catching me off guard a little bit. But when I think, and I hope I didn't interrupt anybody, but when I think of grounding, I think of feet to the earth. And I also know that there are grounding devices, which I've always wanted to own one. And now that we're talking about it, I'm like, I should put that back on my to-do list. But that's me personally. I know grounding can have a lot of meanings. So that's what comes to my mind.
It's amazing. How about you, Pulse Visionary? You are a gift to this community with your holistic healing. Your physical presence is palpable. I mean, I know that I feel like I could really say that in such a genuine way for multiple people throughout that stream. Like your physical presence through a screen is palpable. You are
Thank
calming,
you.
grounding. Like, I want to know, what does grounding mean to you, and how do you facilitate that for yourself?
Thank you, Lindsay. That's so kind.
No, I mean it.
Well, embodiment is a word, right? Like we were talking about the head and heart, and I think really our heart is so powerful. And so if we can embody safety, trust, transparency, and have a voice and choice and a sense of self-agency as we move throughout our day or interact with other people, then we're more true to ourselves. There's more of an awareness. So we're making better choices rather than, oh my gosh, it's launching, we're online, and finding, a phony site and getting wrecked. It's like, no, I know that this is not where I need to follow. I've been practicing all along on the test net. So this is what I need to stay focused on and not so easily get thrown off. So it's the little things that are cumulative, and it takes time to build resilience. So I honor nurses highly. I mean, what a stressful life. What a gift you are to the community. I could never be a nurse. Thank you for what you do. And I mean, I was a massage therapist for years, and it's like they are the most stressed out of all. They give so much. So I think realizing that the work that we do really matters, and that we really have a purpose in every step and every thought and every breath matters. It does matter. Like when I was growing up, it was like, well, it doesn't really matter. Like now I think we're at the tail end of the patriarchy, and it's all been about the male aspect. But once we integrate the feminine aspects of spirit and God and whatever, there's a larger wholeness. And that's what I believe this great awakening that we're in the midst of is about. It's like I think they say historically, like patriarchy is one side of the brain and matriarchal eras are from the other side. And so right now, the connection between the two hemispheres is widening. And so it's the first time ever that we're being able to operate from both sides at the same time. It's not just women or just men, it's all of us from within connecting to our masculine and feminine together. And therefore it raises up to a level of awareness that is really a gift.
It really is a gift. The gift of nurturing is somewhat underappreciated in the broad spectrum of this entire planet. More compassion, more nurturing. And that's not easy to do when you're coming from a place of hopium. If you're putting your resources into a place where you're hoping that they will get a return, but you're not confident in, like, that was what I had to, like, over leveraging, like, really, I'll just like if you're over leveraged, you find yourself in this place of scarcity because you need that resource at the time. And then you find yourself resource guarding, which causes that stress level to rise. You're going right into flight or fight mode. Think right back to caveman days, right? Like if there wasn't enough resources, there was someone to run out and grab those resources. And then there was someone there to nurture those resources and turn it into more. And we don't necessarily have that these days because there is such an imbalance of, we can nurture so many things. And our first priority and responsibility is to nurture those that need it most around us. And then it becomes to ourselves. But how can we nurture a abundance mindset, a oh, millionaire mindset. What's another way of putting mindset? Like, what's a better word than mindset, or, getting that out there? I feel like there's such a barrier when you say mindset. Like, people are like, what's a millionaire mindset? What's a wealth mindset? What does legacy wealth mean? Like, what do those things mean to all of us?
I like embodiment and self-agency.
Yeah. Self-agency and like bringing things in total in a whole. And I feel like that's a piece that's really been missing historically, is having the ability to be present, be grateful, and hone in and practice what you preach, and not being judgmental. Being in healthcare is one of the hardest professions. Being a nurse, being honestly, the one of the hardest positions out there is being a CNA, a certified nurse's assistant. You are out there busting your hump, taking care of the people who need you the most, and you have the least resources available. And most of these CNAs are taking care of our elderly population. So to come in and, like, these jobs don't pay enough for what you do. You are taking care of a human. You are taking care of a life, and you're the only human contact that these people have throughout the day. So what's your energy like when you're coming into these situations? I think a lot of that is like healthcare is, we kind of get stuck into this, like, it's patient care versus documentation. Well, I'd like to keep my job, so I need to do my documentation, but I really care, and this is why I got into this industry, was to connect and to care of people, and facilitating that in so many ways, coming on to these streams and being able to connect with somebody on the other end who might feel that they have a commonality with that fear, that uncertainty, that doubt. These things that you present and the things that you're talking about in space are, you're connecting with somebody else on the other end. Gosh, I don't even know where I went on that. I was like, I get so excited because I want.
Let me point out here, it's a good moment to point this out, that we're up against a lot. There are intentional forces at play that are hell-bent on keeping us in a fear state so that we don't realize our power in the moment, because if we do, it's a threat to them and what they're trying to pull off. So, I mean, there's all kinds of things that we need to battle every day just to maintain peace from within. So unplugging from the media, spending more time in nature, spending more time alone. Like the whole lockdown thing is like, in a way, it was nice to unplug and to not have to connect with so much, so much running around and all these things that we don't even really have to do them. And when we don't do them, we get to just be. Like I'm really lucky. I get to walk on the beach every day, and it's what saves me. Like if it weren't for that throughout this whole thing, I can't imagine what it was like for people who live in cities where they can't go anywhere, they can't go out on the street or anything. I think we have these basic needs that when they're not met over time, it wears us down. And that's what there are forces right now trying to do, is wear us down. But we have to remember that they're only the 1% and we are winning. And they just, like, if you look at, I work with Foster Gamble and Kimberly Gamble of the Thrive movie. And like in the media, they don't talk about the things that are working about the sustainable planet. They only talk about, like, you can't do anything and we're in control and you'll own nothing and we'll own everything. Bullshit. There's a lot of wonderful things going on, sustainable practices that we can do this. We have everything we need to do this. And I'm committed to that. I believe that in my heart. And so we just need to remind one another that, like, what fear, false evidence appearing real, right? We're fine. We're basically fine. We're going to be fine. Whether we launch today or next year, or if we get wrecked or whatever, we're still fine.
Yeah.
In a way. And yes, it would be really nice if it all came through and we, have more affluence. But if not, we're still relatively fine.
Yeah. And having the skills, and I keep saying skills and tools, but really that is like your toolbox. That is everything. You have everything you need to do the best job that you could possibly do right now with whatever you want to do, whatever creation you want to make, whatever promotion you want, whatever portfolio you would like to structure, whatever your home life you want it to look like. We all have the ability within ourselves. It's getting past that fear, right? That is a disposable emotion that we need to process down and really like look at is, what am I so afraid of? What am I so afraid of losing? There's like that. I love that we can bring this stuff into like crypto and talk about that, because it is so like that's part of the whole like purpose of decentralizing, is to get away from that toxic sludge and to really like hone in on what is important. And it's not when Lambo, it's when Homestead, it's not when Moon, it's when me. What can I do inside for me at this moment so that I can be the best wife possible, so that I can be the best mom possible, so that I could be the best person out there possible, to be a good nurse, to be a good friend. Those little tiny things that we kind of skip over so much because we're not really honing in and
Presence.
Yes, absolutely. Can you tell us, for those who don't understand what presence mean, can you please share with us what it means to be present? I'm going to pause my camera for a moment, but I'm listening on my mic. Okay. I'm just going to pause my camera, but I would really love to know what that means. Thank you.
So I think children, especially, like they, like if they do something, it's like, Mom, are you watching? Because if Mom's not watching, it doesn't really matter. Like, is someone present here for me? Does any of this really matter? And if I'm, it makes me so sad when I see all these mothers, on their phone and the kid going, Mom, 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 Mom. It's like, all I can do to not go, Mom, put the phone down, But look at all the pressure that, everything's on this phone right now. My bills, my healthcare, my everything, I have to be looking at my phone. And it is addictive. And also the nervous system, they have it set up in a way that it's a positive feedback loop where dopamine and serotonin, it calms us to be looking at the phone and checking in and seeing that, yes, we got recognized. So I do matter. And we check in that way. Whereas if the battery dies or we lose our phone or whatever, it's like, oh my God, that now it's adrenaline and cortisol because I'm not connected. And I've said this before, I think it's really important to me, but to all of us, that in addition to the hopium about abundance and wealth that Richard is providing, the connection, like we're becoming this family of, I love your term, pulse-chaniacs. I get such a kick out of that one. But it's like the connection that he has provided us all, the ability to nurture connection, online mostly it's happening, but look at all the things. I mean, the Hexicans that just gave $2 million to an animal shelter and all these other wonderful things that are coming about because of the connection and the hopium that Richard is providing, which, by the way, I watched him online, listened on the Twitter feed. And when he says, I mean, I know we all get tired of him bragging, but when he says, I'm the best human being in crypto, it's like, yeah, okay, maybe that's a little arrogant, but you know what? All those other guys on that call, they were not nice people at all. They were not, they're just basically saying, my toy's better than your toy, or my motorcycle's made by a better manufacturer than yours. But we've all got the same thing going on. They're going, oh no, you're just saying that you should buy HEX because it's going to make your bags pump. But they're just saying that you should buy Bitcoin because it's going to make their bags pump. So it was interesting to see him, like after he got off, some people were going, because they were yelling at him about swearing, but they were swearing too. And then when he got off, somebody said, well, he is really intelligent, because he really was trying to teach them, and they didn't know. Like, they didn't even know to use the term cryptocurrency instead of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right? It's just the male ego, mine, do it my way. And then after he got off, a couple of them were like, I can get him back on here. I want to beat him up, It's like, guys. So it made me really realize he is the best human in crypto. And I'm really proud to be a part of this community. And I'm really grateful for him of connecting us all so that we can connect more within and calm down a little bit and have some hopium. It's going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And not only for ourselves, we're going to be able to be of service in our community and make a better world for other people too. So service, I think, and spiritual connection is a big part of this. So I'm really grateful for him. And
Oh,
for the,
I was going to say amen. I'm grateful for you guys for being here too, because I feel like this is a really big connection that, I don't know, maybe I'm a little naive in thinking that, like, oh, if everybody could just connect to themselves out there, we could all have love and compassion. Like, I will go out and hug a tree right now. I'm not afraid. I love like that. Don't threaten me with a good time. I'm all about that. I understand that there's like, some things that may have a negative connotation with that. I don't care. That's my grounding, is going out in nature, putting my feet on the ground and being grateful for that moment. I could not be more grateful, so to speak, of having that mindfulness and that presence. And one of those things for me was taking that time to learn what my own breath sounded like, so that I knew what my own voice would sound like when it came out with words.
right.
So that's not easy to do. That's not easy to hone in on when you come from, I grew up very blue collar. I grew up on a farm,
Okay.
slinging 50-pound bales of hay, but that really taught me what hard work and perseverance and certainly you don't know delayed gratification until you've been hauling hay all day, and you can't have a glass of water until you get that like second tier done. You're like, 4 more bales, I got this. But digging deep in any moment in your life, we've all had those times where it's like I could shut down, because that's everything that our nervous system is telling us to do, is to hunker down, to be safe. Like, we want so badly to connect with our root chakra that we are headed right to our crown. Like, get me out of here. And it's that mindfulness, that presence that allows us to kind of like hone in. And I'm really excited because A Wild SJ is going to show us and walk us through a tool and a skill that will help us to at least give us a jump point, right? Like some place to start to just connect with the sound of your own breath. Meditation sounds scary. I love that you said that, Pulse Visionary. It's, if you are not open to receiving that, or you don't like, it just doesn't connect with you. Meditation, like, okay, I tried it. It doesn't work for me. I can't stand still. I don't know how many people that I've heard that from. So what, like in your field and your experience, what is a gentle bridge for that to open, maybe like open them to that conversation?
You know, I work with people sometimes who are in really extreme stress levels. And so just the practice of like addressing if you look at, there's something called a homunculus. I know that's kind of an outrageous term, but a lot of like the whole body, the nervous system in the body, most of our senses are about touch, sight, breath, hearing. Like the vagus nerve, you'll hear the term vagal tone. So if we can have more connection to those senses, we can hijack our system out of those really activated states. We're like the racing thoughts and oh my God. So I'll walk you through this one. It's I think I just posted it too. It's fairly common, and it only takes a minute. Once you learn it, you can do it anywhere, and nobody will even know you're doing it. But so let's do it together. So the first thing is to take a nice deep breath. And then just orient to your environment. Like look around, either name what you see, or pick a color and how many things of that color that you see. And then what do you hear? And how detailed can you get about this stuff, right? Like left ear or right ear. And then what do you smell? Or what are some of your favorite smells? Get some essential oils out or whatever. What are some of your favorite tastes? Or what do you taste? And then put your hand on your arm or your thigh, and what do you feel? Is it cool or warm or rough or smooth? And how detailed can you get about that? And then take another deep breath. And then carry on.
Those are excellent focal points. Thank you. Connecting with those five senses. Nurse Scarlett, in your experience in the healthcare industry, how beneficial would it be for health teaching purposes with patients to like walk them through connecting with those five senses? Like, you know, those patients I'm talking about, fresh out of surgery, like your body's in pain, your mind's like disoriented, like how can we bring that together for them? I feel like that's newbies coming in.
Theoretically. Theoretically, you know, I mean, when I went to nursing school, I believe both programs that I went to were considered holistic in nature. But at bedside, unfortunately, it's very political, and there isn't often time for as much holistic nursing as a nurse would typically like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
It's needed. You know, there is a hospital local to where I am, and I'm not sure of this now with all of the changes that have happened over the years with management and ownership. At one point, they did have a holistic center at a major hospital here where I am, which was really unique. And so, because nurses and even the aides wouldn't typically have time, you know, to perform those types of practices with patients, but you could like write a referral and send that over, and they could come and they could do guided meditation or even acupuncture. I believe that they even offered massage and essential oils. So,
what? That's amazing. I would like love to see and hear more about those kind of practices in the like healthcare, like massive healthcare industry. I feel like it's just one dollar sign chase after another, and I guess we'll see where things go as things get tokenized in this area. You know, NFTs are not just pretty JPEGs. We're going to an era where things will be tokenized. We'll be able to see our product supply chain coming down the road. We'll be able to see where those are going, and I would hope that that would bring us to an era where we can hold big pharma accountable, and we can hold big hospitals accountable for where their dollars are being spent. Like, because if you're working on the ground, you sure as heck know it's not on the floor. You know, it's not directed at the quality of care that they're hiring to take care of the foundations of their buildings. Like any big corporation, any big business out there, you know, even small businesses, right? Like having that like awareness of your employees and how they are dealing with what is going on these days. Like there's a lack of sensitivity out there because of that nervous, like that fear, that uncertainty, that doubt of what's living around us. So to be able to spread more love and light into this ecosystem that we're in. And I appreciate you ladies being on so much. You shared a message that is connectable and relatable to someone on the other side. And I really feel like we've just brushed the surface of like the idea of how to connect a mindset of scarcity or fear with yourself, those five senses, the touch, hear, smell, taste, you know, like I know there's one more. one off that way, but those 5 things that we can hone in on daily, like even just one, if you're, like 5 might be overwhelming at first, but what's the first thing that you connect with? SJ, I totally hear you on that one. I'm an empath as well. I feel you before I understand. Like I could feel that coming off of you. I'm sensitive like that. I'm open. I want to know more. What is a tool that we can use? I am excited for this. SJ is going to walk us through a breathing exercise, a guided meditation, if you will, close out our evening to fortify our diamond hands, to unite us in a way of unique, whatever that means to you. If it's a spiritual thing, if it's a experimental thing, this is what we're here for. We are here to unite as Hexkins and share that abundance mindset with those around us. SJ, I'm so excited for you to get us started. Will you please give us an overview of what the gift you're about to give us, please?
Sure. So I have you to thank, honestly, for even, putting this idea in my mind. This is something that I've done over YouTube. Like I've followed, basically, so this is going to be a guided meditation. And I think that these are good steps for people who don't, they like can't get into meditation, or they're just like, I just can't sit there and not think of anything. To do a guided meditation, it's a little easier, right? I think it kind of can ease you into that mindset of stillness and quiet. And it was actually really beautiful at the beginning when Pulse Visionary was speaking on a couple things. There were a couple things that you said and did that I like wrote for this meditation, like to do. And I was just like, yeah, yep, exactly that. So yeah, do you want me to go ahead and shall we begin?
Yes. Thank
You
you.
would be so honored. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm super excited about this. So this is just going to be a few minutes. I'm going to welcome everyone to sit if you feel comfortable, or stand, either way, however you feel comfortable and relaxed. And the first thing that I want to have you do is place one hand on top of the other over like the center of your chest. Doesn't matter which hand, just whatever feels right to you. And as you're doing this, I want you to, if you feel comfortable, again, just go ahead and close your eyes and focus on filling your chest with your breath. And just take a few deep breaths here. So I'm just going to be silent for a moment, and we're going to take 2 to 3 deep breaths together. So and as you're doing that, maybe as you exhale, go ahead and press your hands a little tighter onto your chest, almost like you're giving yourself a hug right there. Now go ahead and keep your eyes closed. And you can keep your hands where they're at, or if you would like to, you can move your hands to your belly, or I'm going to place one hand on my chest here and one hand on my belly. And I want you to inhale again. And as you're inhaling, imagine that you're inhaling lightness and clarity. And as you exhale, envision that you're exhaling any stress, any anxiety, any pain or discomfort. So again, we're just going to do a few breaths right here with your hands over your heart and your belly, or just over your chest. And as you exhale too, try and exhale deeper than you have before. And as you inhale, try to inhale deeper than you did before. And really stretch your lungs. And remember that as you're exhaling, as you exhale all that, any stress, anything that's bothering you, or anything that's they call it monkey brain, right? There's this chatter. Just remember that all the things you need to do, whatever's pressing on your heart, it'll be there. It'll be there after this, and you can pick it back up again. But for now, just try to exhale it all and let it all go. As you feel your breathing get deeper, you can move your hand around again to your ribs and fill your lungs as you breathe. As you inhale and you exhale, feel the contraction and the expansion within your body. And as you're doing that, as you're breathing, I want you to also visualize a golden ball of light. Maybe it's where your hand is at. Maybe it's where your heart is, or maybe it's in your belly. But just envision this small gold ball of light. As you inhale deeply, fill your chest space and feel that light expanding within you. Feel it grow as you inhale and feel it get brighter as you exhale. So that as you're breathing, this golden ball of light is just filling your soul, filling your chest, your heart space. And continue to breathe deeply. As you're breathing deeply and as you're focusing and concentrating on this bowl of light, try to remember to lift each corner of your mouth. Bring into your mind gratitude. Think of something that you're thankful for. Think of something that lights your soul up, just like that golden ball of light is doing right now. And as you're breathing deeply, envision that light flowing through you. It's filled you up, and now it's flowing out from your fingertips, out through your eyes, out through your mouth. And it's really just all encompassing and providing light and love to those around you. Or if you need it, it's giving light and love to yourself. Feel it flowing through you and bringing you warmth around you, within you. And we're going to take a few more deep breaths together while I'm silent for just a few moments. And go ahead and take one last deep inhale. And as you exhale, I want to invite you to wrap your arms around yourself and squeeze as hard as you can, as well as feels comfortable to you. Just give yourself a hug and thank yourself for this moment. Thank yourself for being here, for being present, and for allowing that light to fill you and to flow out of you. Now you can gently bat your eyes open.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Welcome back.
No, I'm good here. Thanks.
All right. Yep.
SJ, thank you so much. What a beautiful way to wrap up this segment. That connectivity that you just gave us all a tasty sample of is something that I encourage and challenge you all to listen to on repeat throughout this week. Take those few moments in the morning, like Paul Visionary said, in the morning, before anything stirs in that house, cut this segment out. I'll cut it out for you. I'll post it so that you guys can hear it and listen to it, and take those few moments just for yourself to connect, and then go about your day, and then pick up your app, and then check the chart. Take the time to be peaceful. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I don't want to get any more into anything else because the energy is so soothing. Thank you so much for leaving us with that vibration throughout the evening. Thank you. Bless you all. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I look forward to connecting with each and every single one of you in the best way possible, and so very soon. I'm so excited. There's so many things that this community has looking forward to, and one of them is truly connecting with each other in a way that enables us and empowers us and encourages us all to have those diamond hands and encourage others around us to look within themselves and really find comfort in knowing that you are making the best decisions for your greatest and highest good at the time. So thank you all for being here and helping to empower and encourage that message and to facilitate these growth opportunities throughout everywhere. You are a shining example to women out there on the blockchain to jump past that fear, because that fear is an acronym, and that is all it is. It's just a word. Don't give it any more power. Come on here, share your voice, share your story. We want to hear your tips, tools. That's what the LLC is here for. So thank you so much for being here tonight. Go back, listen to that meditation. You'll be so grateful you did.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. Best way and nurse. Thank you.
Good night.